Anthony from live. Hello. Hello, Facebook. Hello, people. Just checking it from live. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you so much for joining Divinely Classic. Thank you for joining. I did a video last week. That was my first in a long time. And this is the second in a long time. It's just another video to talk about intentional self-care. I just need to check that I am live on Facebook. Hello, Facebook. If you can hear me, you can see me. Just give me a thumbs up. I can't see anything on Facebook. Give me a thumbs up. Just say hello. Just say hello so I can see it on Facebook. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you so much for joining Divinely Classic. This is a month of intentional self-care. And that's something that I have been doing. That's something that we have started as part of our healthy lifestyle program. So every month we have something that a kind of a theme that we work towards, and all through the month of August, it's been intentional self-care. And intentional self-care basically means you taking that conscious effort to look after yourself, to be a better person than you were yesterday, to engage in physical, emotional, mental, and social activities that will improve your overall health and well-being. And at this junction, you ask, okay, the what we'll be talking about today, I'm going to share my screen, and I apologize. Can you hear me? I'm not sure. I need to get a feedback. Just give me a minute. Facebook, just give me a minute. I need to get feedback from what I'm doing. I need to know that people can actually hear me, people can see what I'm doing. Just give me a minute. I'm trying to log into my Facebook account to see if people can hear me. If you can hear, if you can see me, just give me a thumbs up. Let me know that I've actually got people here and they can hear me. Just let me know that you can hear me. I'll just unmute this and let me hear. Can you hear me? I hope I hope people can. I hope people can hear me. I hope people can see me, because I'm not getting any feedback right now, but I'm going to carry on. Hopefully it is what we want. Everything is going as planned, hopefully. So this month, like I said earlier, is a month of intentional self-care. And basically that means taking conscious effort to be a better person than you were yesterday, engaging in things that would make you a better person really in your overall health and well-being. So you talk about self-forgiveness, and you try to think, how do you marry self-forgiveness and self-care, intentional self-care? As we already know, health on its own is not an isolated term in terms of it's a broad area which encompasses our physical, mental, and our social well-being. So I always use the definition of health from World Health Organization, which says that it is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease and infirmity. That's World Health Organization 1948 definition of health. It is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not just the absence of disease and infirmity. And that's where self-forgiveness comes in. This is the mental aspect of it, because mental health is very, very important. You can see people who have got their numbers in terms of their blood pressure, their blood glucose, they're all fine, they're physically well, but then they have mental health struggles. So mental health is very important in our overall health and well-being, and that's where this self-forgiveness comes in. A lot of people do things and they feel ashamed. They think, oh God, why did I do that? But hopefully after this message, at the end of this message, you will learn how to forgive yourself, really, how to just move on. So we start by defining what forgiveness is. And as you can see on the screen, forgiveness is that thoughtful decision to let go of feelings of anger, of hatred, and resentment that has been born and towards someone who you believe you have wronged. I repeat, it's a thoughtful decision to let go of feelings of anger, hatred, and resentment that you have, what we talk about, grudge that you've had towards somebody when you believe that they have wronged you. Okay, right now, the table is turning now. It's not us, or rather somebody wronging us now. It's us doing something that we are ashamed of. That's where self-forgiveness comes in. And what is self-forgiveness in this context now? It is the ability to accept an unpleasant event in which you were probably wrong. And sometimes you were wrong, sometimes you were not even wrong. Somebody might have offended you, and that's, some people offend you, and you're thinking, why did I let this person use me like this? Why did I become a fool for this person? So it could be that you were wronged or you wronged somebody. But either way, the aim is self-forgiveness. And, again, self-forgiveness entails the decision to move on after deliberation, after careful deliberation on that thing. You say, oh, do you know what? I want to move on. And I'm hoping that, again, my audio is going out. I'll just pause again. I apologize because I haven't got I don't have enough feedback. I need to go back on Facebook just to see that I am audible and people can see me. Okay, thank you. I've got some people on Facebook. Thank you so much for joining. Can you hear me? Can you see me? I think so. Okay, I'll go back to my PowerPoint that I was, okay. I'll go back now. I've got my screen all modded up now. Okay, thank you. Thumbs up, that means you can see me. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you, I can see all that. Yes, I'm rest assured now that people can hear and see what I'm doing. Okay, I'll carry on as I share my screen. Okay. I've got so much on my screen that I'm trying to probably need to minimize this one. I'll minimize this one. Sorry, I've got so much. Okay, it stopped. So I need to share again. Hopefully everybody can see what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm sharing now. Yeah, this is where I was talking about self-forgiveness. The ability to accept an unpleasant event in which you were probably wrong or you were wronged by somebody. And again, it means the willingness to move on after careful deliberation. Okay, so we're talking about self-forgiveness. How do you forgive yourself? How do you forgive yourself? You know, one way, there's this 4 arrows of self-forgiveness that I stumbled on the internet, and I thought, wow, that's very interesting. One way that you can forgive yourself is responsibility. So we're going to talk about the 4 arrows, and the first one is responsibility. The second one is to express remorse. The third one is to restore and repair, or repair and restore. And the fourth one is renewal. Yeah, so those are the 4 arrows of self-forgiveness. So we start with the first one, responsibility. What is responsibility? This is the state of having to deal with something. So when something happens, you know, you have to take responsibility. You have to say, oh, I need to deal with this thing. The same, when we're talking about self-forgiveness now, or forgiveness, we're talking about an event that happened, something that you did, something that you were engaged in, you know. So this is the time to say, indeed, I was responsible for my behavior. It could be how you reacted during that incident. Take responsibility. Say, I am responsible. You know, we like to excuse ourselves. We like to blame other people. Yeah, if she had not said that, I wouldn't have said that. If she had not done this, I wouldn't have done this. You know, so take responsibility for your actions. That's the first way to self-forgive. Okay, then accept. While you're taking responsibility, it's also accepting that, yes, I've done this and I didn't do it properly. And then don't make excuse. Like I said earlier, we are so good at blaming other people for our mistake. The things that we have done wrong, we are so good at blaming other people for it, instead of saying, oh, you know, that person didn't push me to do this. Yes, there are some people that can be very taunting. They can push and push and push, but you are still responsible for your actions. So the moment you start realizing that, that's one of the ways to self-forgiveness. And then release the negativity. Responsibility is the first cause. It's also a point where you start to think, I need to release this responsibility, or rather this guilt, this anger, this hatred. And it's interesting because this is what we actually feel towards ourselves. Remember, it's self-forgiveness, because we are thinking that we have done the worst crime ever. You have done something, you know, what they call indescribable. You are so ashamed of it, and you feel this guilt in you. You know, forgiving yourself is very important for your mental health. It's very, very important. Okay, so the first arrow is responsibility, and the second arrow is remorse. To express remorse. And what is remorse? It's a sense of deep regret, guilt, and shame. You know, when there are some things, we look at ourselves, some things we did years back, and you think, God, why did I do this? Why did I do this? How could I have done this? You know, so you have that sense of regret. You have that sense of guilt and shame. And, you know, when you say guilt, what is guilt? Guilt is to acknowledge a harmful action of yours or behavior, to acknowledge and say, oh, that was wrong. That was really, really, really wrong of me. I shouldn't have done it. And then regret sets in. That's when you have that feeling of sadness, that feeling of repentance over something that's happened. And then the shame. First you feel the shame, actually. The guilt, the shame, the regrets. Okay, the shame is that feeling of humiliation caused by a consciousness of wrong. Okay, you feel guilty, and then you feel ashamed, and then you regret your behavior. You say, oh, I shouldn't have done that. That is the second arrow of self-forgiveness. Remember, the first arrow is taking responsibility of whatever happened. Don't blame people. Take responsibilities for your behavior, for your actions. The second arrow is express remorse. And expressing remorse, it's a lot of ways. There are a lot of ways that you can express remorse, and as we go on, we will still touch on them. Okay, then repair and restore. That's the third arrow. Repair and restore. And while you're repairing and restoring, it's part of the ways of expressing remorse. You know what's called restitution. You can go back and say, oh, how do I make this better? At this junction, I'm going to share a personal story. I'll stop sharing because I'm not sure why, but my screen, it's not showing properly. So I'll stop sharing so people can see my face. Hello, everybody. I'll start sharing again. I'm going to share a personal experience of mine that for me was that was how I knew that I could actually forgive myself for something that I done. That was how I experienced self-forgiveness. What happened was that there was this lovely auntie. She's asked me to make something for her, to make some food. And, this is somebody that I really love. I love this auntie. And I went to the market. I bought stuff I needed to use. I bought extra because I wanted the food to be extra nice. But that was one of those days, one of those days that things just go wrong. My gas cooker messed up. Everything just went wrong. And at the end, the food was a mess. I'll tell you this. I looked at that food and I thought, wow, I have never done it this bad. I was so ashamed of myself. I was feeling I felt so bad. And because that was the first time, this person, she's tasted my food before, but that was the first time she's actually asked me to make something for her, and she was looking forward to it. I was looking forward to, oh God, I really need to please this auntie, but then I messed it up. And I could tell that I had messed it up. And for days, I actually cried. I can't be very emotional sometimes. I actually cried. And how could I have messed this opportunity? For me, it was an opportunity at the time. How could I have messed this opportunity up? But then there was nothing I could do at this point. The harm had already been done. I couldn't go back to yesterday. And that's one point that we should learn from in a bit to forgive ourselves. You can't go back to yesterday, but you can right the wrongs of yesterday. What did I do? About 2 weeks later, I had the opportunity to see this really lovely auntie of mine, and I could notice the tension. She wasn't happy, but I knew I had to make it right. I went up to her and I said, Auntie, can I speak to you? And she was like, okay. I said, Auntie, I'm sorry. I know I messed up. I can't quote it. There's nothing I would say to me. I know what I did was wrong. And she was like, there's this sigh, like, okay, thank goodness, And she said she thought about it. She wanted to call me to tell me, but she just thought, you know what, I'll just let go. But her letting go, she had already moved on, I suppose, but I couldn't. Because I knew I did the wrong thing. I knew that what I did not consciously mess up the food. No, I didn't. It was just one of those days where everything goes wrong. So I spoke to her, I apologized, I explained to her what went wrong on the day, and she was like, yeah, because though you've not cooked for me personally before, but I've tasted your food, so I know what you can do. So when I saw that, I thought, there's something wrong here, So I apologized to her. I took responsibility. I didn't blame my gas, which messed me up. I didn't blame whatever spice I used. I could have to say, oh, it was that extra spice I added. Blah. I thought I should have known better. This is not the first time that I was doing this thing, So those are ways that you can self-forgive yourself. Mind you, I have taken responsibility. I have expressed remorse. That's the second arrow now. I have expressed remorse, shame, and guilt. I couldn't look her in the eyes the first 5-10 minutes that I was talking to her because I was so ashamed of myself. I was thinking, wow, how can you mess something this simple? How can you mess it up like that? Now I'm going to go back to sharing my screen. And talking about the third arrow. Talking about the third arrow. Yeah, you can see my screen. The third arrow is repair and restore. And how do you repair and restore? You attempt to put something in a good condition after a damage. Our relationship was, I knew it wasn't damaged, but it was strained. And I wanted to like put it back. That was why I went back to her to say, I'm so sorry for what I've done. That's why saying sorry is, nobody's too big to say sorry, because we all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. No man is perfect. Nobody is perfect. And then while you're repairing, into the third arrow now, you reestablish relationship, you reestablish yourself. Because mind you, you are learning. That's the point of self-forgiveness. That's what's called reflection or reflective practice in the healthcare sector. Basically, when you do something that you shouldn't have done, you need to go back and look it up. Think about it. There's the cycle of reflection. Think about it. What could I have done better? What happened? What could I have done? Why? What could I have done better? I didn't say the cycle. There are different cycles anyway. So that's the point of reflection. The same with self-forgiveness, the same with these 4 arrows that we are talking about. Attempt to put something in a good condition afterwards. So you can go back and try to restore. You can try to if you've been nasty to somebody, you can go back and say, oh, do you know what? I'm so sorry. Or you've broken something that you shouldn't have. You could try to replace it, offer to replace it if the person would want you to. Then make amends. Try to make better the whole situation. Take actions to rectify your mistake. What did I do? The story that I was sharing earlier, what did I do? After I had this heart-to-heart chat with this really lovely auntie, she said, you know what, I'm fine now. Just talking to you about it, I'm fine. And there and then, I noticed how relieved I was. And remember, we're talking about our mental health now, emotional well-being as part of our overall health. I noticed how relieved I was. I noticed how relaxed I was because I had taken the time. I took actions. I took the time to go back and try to sort everything out. I apologized, and I told her, I said, you know what, Auntie, I'm going to make something else for you, So I tried to rectify it. And she was very happy. When I did what I did afterwards, she took a picture and said, oh, thank you so much. And deep down, I thought, thank you, God, for helping me to deal with this situation. Because there are some little things that could happen that would strain some very, very good relationship with people. There's some people, it's not good to fight with people, but then there's some people you cherish your relationship with them. You just don't want to mess it up, So self-forgiving yourself helps, because during that process of self-forgiveness, you can take actions to better your relationship. Okay, so that's the third arrow. Remember, there's taking responsibility, expressing remorse, and the third one is repair and restore. And the last one is renewal. This is after you've done all that you need to do. This is a new you now. Learn from that experience. What have you learned? I learned from that experience that next time I want to make something, if the gas is not working properly, then ditch it, go for a better gas. And that day I thought I was just being lazy. I could have changed the gas. I could have changed the pot. There were lots of things I could have done. So looking back now, when you've done that reflection, you think, what have I learned from this experience? And then you understand why you did what you did. You say, oh, okay, this is what happened. But next time, I'm going to do it better. Next time, I'm not going to make this mistake. And the third point is to put future preventative measures in place. Next time, if I want to make something like that, I definitely am not using that massive pot on a small cooker. No, I'm not doing that anymore. There are things that I learned on that day that I would never do. Okay, so that's what self-forgiveness is all about. The 4 arrows: take responsibility, express remorse, then repair, try to rectify it. Some people, when you offend them, they just don't want to hear it, just go away, but try. And if they don't want to accept sorry, as long as you are genuinely sorry, as long as you have learned from that experience, move on. That's the point of this. That's the point of this presentation today. Move on. Move on. There's so much you can give. Mind you, this is also a message to people. Somebody might have offended you and they are genuinely sorry. They are genuinely remorseful. And you see them taking actions that this thing doesn't happen again. Hey, you ain't perfect. You are not perfect. Forgive them. Forgiveness differs for people. Some people can forgive you and move away. If that is your way of dealing with it, fair enough. Some people can forgive you and still want to be close to you, as long as there's that, as long as that hatred, that anger for that person is gone. Move on. And again, we're talking about self-forgiveness. It entails having that anger and hatred for yourself. A lot of people might think, oh, what's she on about? But there are people out there who are struggling with forgiving themselves. They look at the events that happened, they think back and they say, how can I have done that? But then what can you do now? You can't go back to yesterday. Like I said earlier, you could use these 4 arrows that we have talked about, taking responsibility, okay? Show genuine remorse. Then try to repair as much as you can. Then learn from it, renew yourself, so that tomorrow people see you, they see a better person. And that's one importance of reflection. It improves self-awareness. You know who you are. You know the things that would trigger you, so that way you prevent them. Okay, so back to our self-forgiveness, it's part of our overall well-being. I'll share my screen again because we are almost done now. And I apologize if you're on Facebook that I'm not responding. That's because I need to keep logging in and out using my laptop and all that. So I would go back to the comment section and, go through everything. And this video, I'll be sharing it on my YouTube channel. So if you're here, you're watching, you've not subscribed to my YouTube channel, what are you waiting for? Come on, help your girl. Please, I need my YouTube channel to grow. It's Divinely Classic. Just put Divinely Classic in the search button and on YouTube, and you see my channel. There we encourage healthy living. Same thing we do on Facebook as well, and we're also on Instagram. Okay, back to self-forgiveness. We've talked about the 4 arrows of self-forgiveness. Okay, and I will just quickly talk about the benefits of self-forgiveness. Why do I need to forgive myself? It improves your mental and emotional well-being. That feeling of shame, guilt, and regrets. How long can you keep hurting yourself? Because it's just like unforgiveness. When you don't forgive people, you're also hurting yourself. There's that weight that you're carrying around. And there is evidence that our psychological being affects our physical body, like our physiology. So basically what you think, your head, how you, process stuff, the anger, there is the release of, negative hormones, the cortisol, and these are responsible for high blood pressure, high glucose, a lot of negative effects in your body. Okay, so benefits of self-forgiveness, better mental and emotional well-being, and then more positive attitude. Instead of feeling guilty everywhere you go, thinking I'm not enough, thinking I'm a bad person. No, you think, oh, that happened. Okay, we move on. It's what we say back home in Nigeria. I say we move. You move on. Don't let anybody guilt trip you. Don't let anybody put you in that constant state of self-regret. You and God, nobody's perfect. As long as you can be honest to yourself and say, I did wrong. I want to be a better person. And you're making conscious efforts to be a better person. Move on. Okay? Benefits of self-forgiveness. It also reduces anxiety. This anxiety, they didn't spell it properly on here. It reduces anxiety. And I give credit to this, whoever owns this image. They are all pictures that I got off Google. So original credit goes to the owner of this image. So self-forgiveness reduces anxiety, and then you become more kind to yourself. If you can't forgive yourself, how can people forgive you? If you can't forgive yourself, how can people forgive you? So self-forgiveness just means that you are kinder to yourself. And then there's the healthier relationship that you will enjoy with people, because you are able to look back at things that you have done and you've regretted your actions, you've learned from it, and you've moved on. So there are loads. It's just this four we have here, but there are loads of benefits of self-forgiveness. I will encourage us to learn how to forgive ourselves. Okay. In conclusion, this is almost the end now. I'm going to take this quote from Joshua Liebman. He says, "We achieve inner health only through forgiveness. The forgiveness not only of others, but also of ourselves." So this is by Joshua Liebman. Okay, I'll just leave that on the screen for a while. We achieve inner health only through forgiveness. Remember, I talked about our psychological being affecting our physical being. There is evidence. You think too much, you're angry too much, you're shouting too much, you're not forgiving yourself. There's the tendency that you fall ill physically. There's the tendency, okay? So forgive others, very important. Also forgive yourself. Let it go. Let it go, okay? And that's basically the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for watching. If this is your first time on my page or my channel, please like, please share, please comment, and follow us on social media handles. We're on YouTube, it's Divinely Classic. We're on Twitter. Am I on Twitter? I can't remember, to be honest. I think so. On Facebook, on Instagram, Divinely Classic. So please continue to share our handles, comment, like, and thank you ever so much for watching. I'm going to stop sharing now, and hopefully Facebook can see me. Let me quickly rush over to Facebook just to see what's happening there. Thank you ever so much, people. Oh, why are you angry? Wilson Naughty, agreeing to your mess up. Of course, you need to agree to your mess up. You need to. If you don't, you've not been truthful to yourself. If you don't agree to your mess up, you need to tell yourself that I did the wrong thing. That's the only way. That's the only way. So he says, if you don't forgive yourself, you release. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's my notes there. Thank you. If you don't forgive yourself, you release adrenaline. And, talking about adrenaline and cortisol and all that, adrenaline makes the heart beat faster, pump. That's the rush of adrenaline through us. And these have physiological effects. Imagine when your heart is beating so fast. Sometimes you can't even breathe. You can't even breathe. You're really angry. And a lot of negative emotions are going through your head. Imagine that's towards yourself now, because you're thinking, I'm worthless. Oh, why didn't I do this thing better? Why didn't I know better? You are doing your best. You are doing your best. You well done for all that you're doing. Let the hate go. Let the self-hate go. Let the self-regret go. There's this popular children's song, let it go, let it go. I don't know how to sing it. Let it go, let it go. And if you're trying to better yourself and people are not seeing the new you, the better you, that's their problem. You can't go back to who you were yesterday because people are not seeing the real you. You can't be that person that you didn't like, that you're trying to get over, because people are not seeing the real you. Let it go. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You're worth it. Again, this is a month of intentional self-care, and that's why we're talking about this. Next month, we have another theme which I'll bring up soon. But until then, please keep supporting Divinely Classic. Please keep sharing our videos. Please keep liking and tell people about us. We also have merchandise for sale for people that know us. We have a website, www.divinelyclassic.co.uk. I'm going to put that in the comment section here. So you can click on it. There we sell .co.uk. And there we sell, and I've got some angry faces. Why have I got? Yeah, www.divinelyclassic.co.uk. Yeah, so I've got some angry faces. I'm not sure why I've got angry faces on my live video, but whatever is making you angry, I hope it gets well soon. And I hope you forgive yourself because you just put in angry faces on my video for no just cause. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me on this video. I am really, really pleased that I'm able to do a live video again. Next month, September, we have a guest that will be inviting. She's coming to talk about diabetes and diets. Until then, keep supporting our brand. Take care and have a good afternoon. Bye. I'll end the live stream now. How do I end the live stream?